Hello there, welcome to part 2. You're a shocking, awful parent, and it's okay because you don't know that you are. And that sort of hopefully makes you feel okay about it. Now, what I'm going to try and do in this one now is break down why you act unconsciously and why you are a bad parent. Now, I'm not declaring I'm the best parent in the world, but everybody can improve. I don't want you, and if you're reacting now saying, who are you to say that I'm a bad parent? If you're reacting like that, you're probably one of the bad parents because you're ego defending it. You're not looking outside of yourself. Good parents bring up good kids that don't have mental health issues. They've got strong balance of life. They are confident by the age of 6, 7. They can engage in conversations. They can do work and multiple tasks and enjoy sports. They have experiences that, of course, make them fearful and change them as they get older. But the hard parenting stuff has to be done early on. There is nobody out there that's ever said, when I grow up I want to put loads of Jews in the gas chamber and gas them. Adolf wasn't saying that. Adolf was a nice, bright little kid, and he was probably had decent parents, but somewhere along the line he got an ideology that was completely mad and ended up becoming this monster. Now, there's lower level types of monsters, which is not teaching great, ways to live to the child. That is your job. Be a role model. Now, if you go down to the shop with your children in a housecoat and a pair of slippers, what role model are you speaking out? What are you saying about yourself? You're saying to your kids it's alright not to give a shit about what you wear to go anywhere. And what are they going to be when they're older? They're going to be the kids having kids at the age of 14 because it's okay. You're passing messages on. Now we've got to change this, and we've got to really wake up. Mental health is at the worst it's ever been. We're getting kids killing themselves all the time. It's just not on. We're getting 5-year-olds diagnosed with antidepressants and becoming zombies, so they can't even play like a kid anymore. And we're all saying, oh, it's the kid's fault, it's the kid's fault. And no one is taking any responsibility. I'm taking responsibility. I look at parenting videos all the time to see if I can be a better parent. And I'm somebody that can't even see my child all the time, and I'm still trying to do this. What about these parents that are sat at home, and you see them out in the shops as well, and in cafes and in restaurants, and you watch a baby cry for 10 minutes and the parent won't even take their eyes off their mobile phone. They'll just rock the pushchair like it doesn't exist. This behaviour is shocking, and somebody needs to say something about it and highlight it. And it comes from your unconscious behaviour comes from you not understanding how you work. It's that simple. And now you could say, why is this a problem? This is evolution. We've always just carried on, and this is how we live life. Well, guess what? Every mental health disorder in the whole world, from PTSD to anxiety to disorders to ADHD to all of these things, all they are, in simple terms, is a human being not understanding how to control an emotion. Love, hate, anger. We don't know how to deal with grief. We don't know how to deal with loads of energy in the mind, so we call it hyperactivity. We don't know how to control our overthinking mind. We're getting completely lost in this labelling, and it's as simple as this. We don't know how to control emotions. We have to stop being reactive and take a backward step from ourselves and say, can I firstly do a better job in this place where I'm viewing my experience? And first of all, the honest answer is we can all improve. That's all you ever are, is basically a work in progress. You will never be the greatest father and mother on the planet. It's impossible. But imagine if the first thing you do when you woke up in the morning was watch the video on 5 ways to be a better parent. Imagine the child you're going to produce. It won't have mental health like you did. It won't have bad relationships like you did. You will fill them with confidence at an early age and make them understand about everything about this experience and taking a backward step. And the kids will live a better life. And what will that do then with mental health? Once we teach children how to cope with emotions, what happens then to mental health? Well, mental health can't exist, because mental health is just you not knowing how to control and understand and even feel an emotion. Anxiety is a fear. It's a fear based on an event from past or in the moment. And if we understood that, we can not be reactive and we can love each other even better. When you go into yourself, you will want to put some clothes on to go down to the shop, because you realise now you're a role model to your children. All of your behaviour is being watched by your child. You can say your child's got ADHD all you want, but what is the thing that you are doing? You can say that your child has picked the wrong boyfriend at the age of 16, or you can say that your lad is being horrible and a bully at school at the age of 16, but what is mummy and daddy doing? What is their behaviour? What are you representing to them? We mirror and mimic the behaviour of parents, and if we don't do that, we polarise the other way to the complete opposite side of what we see. You have to find the balance. It's all about you. Now your one job is to love and be there for your child from the age of 1 till 60. That's all you have to do. Priority. Unfortunately, this means you have to learn so much about yourself to be the best role model, to love yourself the best, to make sure you get into the right relationship. I'm not saying you can get into a perfect relationship and it's not going to not work out. This stuff happens. It's how you react to it, what happens next. How many people come from broken families? How many dads and mums don't speak to each other? And how many mums and dads don't even speak to their kids now because of that? And this is so emotionally crippling. This is what is causing the first bits of mental health and problems, and then kids end up going on the streets and getting into trouble, and they end up in prison. And really, when you look at a prison, even the 50-year-old men are like little boys still. The lost boys who have never been loved, they've never seen love. And you can see, if anybody's ever worked in a prison and see the visiting room explains everything you need to know about the prison, who they're hanging around with, who their family is, their best friends are, and it's all there plain to see. Now, how can we be a better parent? Now, there's one thing that I think that is another big issue with parenting. We seem to not allow kids to express emotion because we don't do it. We don't know how to do it, so we don't think we should be passing it on to them. And it's quite weird really, because as a former child, when you couldn't express your emotion the way that you wanted and it was blocked and suppressed, you felt like shit, and you actually felt you was doing something wrong. You felt shamed, and that guilt lived with you still with you now. And we don't accept this. It's like we've blocked it out. So one rule is, even in something simple, when a child's fallen over, bumped the head, and your first reaction is to go, oh no, and then when the child cries and does hysterical crying, you want to react and shut them up. Don't cry, you don't need to cry, no, naughty floor, blah de blah. And the best thing you can ever do is say to your child calmly as anything, that's gonna hurt you. You've just bumped your head on a concrete slab. I'm human, I've experienced that. That's gonna hurt, but it's gonna pass. And this calmness, this you taking control of your emotions, teaches the child in the first principle, the first law this child learns then, is emotions is completely fine. It's okay to express, and I'm being accepted for crying and behaving in a way that seems kind of alien to the situation. And that calmness then gets into them, and they become a chilled out character. They are okay with pain, because it's like, wow, life is pain and suffering. Thanks, Mum. Thanks, Dad. Life is pain and suffering, and loads of people are constantly telling children it's not life and suffering, it's not pain and suffering, sorry. It's constant happiness, and it's just attaining happiness and material pleasure, and that's all life is. And then when you go out into the world and you try and just live for yourself, you realise it's not a bed of roses. Some parts are absolutely horrible, and it's just accepting that. And it's not scaremongering the child, it's teaching them values that they can take into their older life. They will get solid relationships from this if you give them this good skill early on. Express emotion, but don't be reactive. Don't react to a feeling inside that causes a behaviour. Don't be that cause and effect. Be the cause that acknowledges the cause, and then have the effect from that perspective. It's a whole new way of living. And I just think this gets rid of mental health, because we all then grow up learning about emotions in the right way.